Well, hello there. This is Shop Talk with Buck. I am Buck. Welcome to my shop. Today, what I want to talk about is I've got the dry sink complete, all except for the staining. We did have a little happen. You know, if you got any project of any size, if it's got any size at all, something's not going to go right. And what I decided to do is kind of show y'all when this kind of stuff happens. And it happened. It was one of them. Well, you got two ways. Well, there's more, but you can plan it out to where things like what you're fixing to see or hear about is, chances are it won't happen if you write a script and a storyboard and a set of drawings and step-by-step instructions, which would take a couple of days, really, especially because you would have to do it for a project like this dry sink, from the beginning to the end, so you know what's coming, what to plan for, and that'd be the whole purpose of doing it that way. I have done that on some stuff, but most of the time I just fly in and take off with it, Well, it kind of bit me a little bit because when you do it that way, the unforeseen stuff, when it jumps up and bites you, now you got to get creative and figure out how to correct it. Oh, Lordy. On the uprights, I got the design that I did, but you sandwich them together, double-side them, tape the pattern to it. And what you do at that point right there, or right before the double-sided tape, I should have got on the drill press and put me up some stop blocks and whatnot, where I could drill a hole to accept the dowel that holds the tiles and get it all then while I had the square references to run from. Then when you double-side them together, it doesn't matter if it wound up being a little short or something, but the holes would still line up. Well, I didn't do that. I didn't think far enough ahead. So once I got all the curves and everything all done, and I stood them up there, and I thought, uh-oh. In these curves and stuff, it's going to be hard to make them holes look at one another where you make a rod go all the way through without just making them so big. Well, I studied about it. Then I come up with this procedure, still not knowing it would really work, at the hopes I would hope I'd got where I could waller it out a little bit and still make it work. But I didn't have to waller. It worked perfectly. A blind squirrel will find an acorn every now and again. So that's kind of what happened to me. I had the stops, and I got my floor jack out where I could put it in the precise location, and it worked. Even after I drilled it, you don't know until you actually install the towel rod. But I hadn't made the towel rod at this time, so I had to put it back until I got it made. Me thinking all the time, is it going to work? Is it not? But it worked perfectly. Like I say, a blind squirrel can find an acorn every now and again. And I found a big acorn. But anyway, but still, if you take the time to draw it out, it has its place. And I've done it. I forget now what I was doing. I drawed it out to make sure that a lot of times something you've not done, to make sure everything's going to fit together like it should. I have done it, but most of the time I just fly in there and take off. Like to have bit me this time, but it didn't. So, dog. How about that? Well, anyway, that's kind of why on the other channel, I got these long videos, and I'm just wondering, I like bringing the detail out. You know, I'm not an entertainer, probably won't never be. However, on woodworking, I could show you the details on how to do stuff. And it's usually 2 or 3 different ways to do something, like mortise and tenon. You cut them by hand, you can use a router. I mean, there's a mortiser, there's a lot, or you can take your drill press to do the mortise and take a Forstner bit and hog it out and then take it. There's a lot of different ways to do a operation. I like exploring them all, because if you take your drill press, all right, what if your drill press, you need to cut mortise and tenons and it's down? You know, you're waiting on a part for it or whatever. In other words, you don't have that option, or your mortiser messed up, or you don't have the right bit, or, you know, it could go on. It's an advantage to be able to do things more than one way. I've taken chisels. I don't have a mortise and chisel. I like to have one. You take the most common, because I like doing the mortise and then doing the tenon to fit the mortise. A lot of times you can take a mortise chisel and it really doesn't take long. But on the tenon, you got the table saw. You can use a dado stack to hog it out, or like I did, I stood it up and did it that way. That's a good way of doing it. The advantage of something like that, if you had a whole bunch to do, say a table, you got to do all 4 legs, or you got a lower set, a upper set, you got 8 to do. You know, that's where that comes in advantage. Once you get it set, you can just batch them out and then go to the next operation, batch them out, and then before you know it, it's done rather quickly. And a lot of times of it, the essence, and the thing about it is, I try not to set a clock. I mean, I spent all my career as construction. Everything you do is on time limit. Time limit. I mean, you had a drop dead date. You hit that, or it's going to cost you in liquidated damages. So what I've decided to do here, so what I was hoping to get the dry sink done, but it just ran out of time, and really it's not a big deal. I mean, I'm not under a time limit, and nor do I want to be. So it's kind of like a neighbor come up one time, and I was down here. I was working. I had a little project going on, what have you, and this before YouTube, so I wasn't filming it. But he was just tore up that he needed to ask me something, but he was tore up that he was bothering me, keeping me from working. I said, whoa. I don't work this. I work my job. And if I ain't got time for a neighbor, I just lock it up and go in the house. I mean, you know. So me and him spent about 30, 45 minutes talking about his little problem. And he came up with a little solution, and we went on. But if I ain't got time to stop and talk to a neighbor or talk to a friend, I mean, what am I doing? So that's the reason why I put it off to next week. I'm going to do all the staining. That's all I like, the staining. And what I'm going to do is we'll stain it next week, make a video. If I set a deadline, I mean, you know, with the YouTube channel, if I do something to somebody, I don't have a time limit. I mean, I get it when I get it. Because I spent all my 40-something years as contracting that. I had to hit a time. I ain't going to do that. So I want, because I like the journey. I like the process. And for the detail in my videos, that's what I'm going to try to bring out on my other channel. Here we're going to talk about it, go over things and stuff like that. And that's what this channel was meant to be. Well, really, it started out me talking in front of the camera to get comfortable, because there's nothing natural. If you've not done it, there's nothing natural standing in front of the camera talking to it. But as time goes, it's amazing what you can get used to. I mean, not look the best in the world, but at least I'm more comfortable now. I did this 30-day talking head just as an exercise. You talk 5 to 10 minutes on the subject every day for 30 days. Well, that first time I farted up, man, I struggled and hem-hawed and carried on and finally got 4 minutes in. Could not get that 5 minutes. Well, by the end of the 30 days, I had no problem going 15, 20 minutes. It's getting comfortable. And that's what this was really started about. And I started airing them, and people started liking what they're saying. I said, well, I just do this as a shop talk. And basically here lately, I just go over what I did going on in the shop, what I did the previous week, and what I'm looking forward to, and all that kind of stuff. People seem to like it, and so we just go for it. What do you think? So I try to talk to make this, 20, no more than 20 minutes. I don't even know how long I've gone here. No more than 20 minutes, almost 12 minutes in right now. So, yeah, some channels just entertainment. I like the details, I don't know. I mean, I'm working on this dry sink, and I'm approaching the end of it. And a lot of times when you get down to right at the end, and all you got to like is finishing up, that's when things get dropped. But just for the sake of finishing. And that's another reason why I decided, all right, I'll just hold what you got. We'll just finish it up next week, that kind of thing. But I think the dry sink is turning out well. I really do. I didn't want it to look like a new dime or a new nickel. I mean, I want it to have a patina or a rustic look. I'm just putting the parts that were missing. I'm building the parts that's missing, putting it together, but I need to stain it to where it looks close. And the formula I found, I think, can work fine. But on what was there, I'm kind of leaving what scratches and stuff was there. I mean, just as a patina thing, or a rustic used. I don't know what I'm looking for, but anyway, I wasn't looking for it, because if I'm looking for something brand new, like a brand new car, well, I would have started over and built from scratch. I would have made it look like a brand new one. But it's just where we're at now. I appreciate y'all watching, especially get down to the end of it. I like talking to the ones that get down to the end of it, because I know that they're more serious. Some come through and watch a minute or two and they're gone. That's whatever they want to do. But it's the ones that get down to the end of it I really appreciate. And leaving me a comment, hitting that like button, it really, you don't know how. I really appreciate that. I've been getting a lot of good comments on this channel here, and I definitely appreciate it. So I tell you what, I'm going to end that one right there, or this one right there, and next week we'll come back. Hopefully I'll be able to talk about the staining process and whatnot, and how we got her done, and But y'all be safe, and I will catch you on the next one.